Good morning, my students. Today, as I mentioned, I cannot do with the class lively today in your classroom, but I will record it, and as you can learn from today, as we are continuing our study about pastoral theology, we will focus in our talk karon is about the Letivicus of Pastoral Theology. As you know, the Letivicus book, as part of the Pentateuch, no, it is mentioned here by ancient Greek translators. It is the book mainly treats cultic matters, no. So it is also concerned about the priests, no. So that's why the book of Letivicus mainly with the priestly tribe of Levites, no? Levites, no? And then they were direct custodians of the law of worship, of ritual sacrifice, and also priestly consecration, installation, and so on and so on. So that's why we have to focus in the pastoral theology in this the practical influence of our pastoral theology today is to make our contextual biblical pastoral leadership in the pastoral theology. As you know, a pastor is the one to manage, no, a manager of complex volunteer organization. As a pastor, you have to manage your parish, something like that, no? In our present days, churches are composed with, of course, laymen and laywomen who are help us in the specific fields of the pastoral. But the ministry needs a pastor manager to coordinate pastor manager, no, to coordinate wide range of personals, no, like only minister, and without self-reflection of theology, particularly in the area of shepherdhood. We need the leadership and also the skills to do it, no. So that's why this can help once again to contextualize the biblical principle. It is mentioned in the Letivicus book, no. There are so many skill to be needed in the pastoral leadership. If I can count it one by one, the first, the quality of the skill is communicative skills. No? Communicative skills. No? But because it's important, communicative skills, no? Meaning to say, communication is a, how do you call it, a process of sending and also receiving the message by verbal or non-verbal means, no? So we need the technique to involve this in this skill. That's why the communication will be real, will be active, will be empathic, and not judgmental types of skills, just only to listen, no? And of course, this skill involve clarifying, no? You have to have the skill to clarify, to para praising the matters, and after that summing up. It is what we call the communicative skill, no? To be be a leader, pastoral leader. And that's why with this communicative skill, the pastor leader will be loyal and reliable, no? Loyal and reliable in the way to inspire, no? Confidence among his flock, his parishioners. It is very clear, as mentioned in the Gospel, I think in the Matthew chapter 4, verse 19, when Jesus become our model of this communicative skill, no? Because to inspire, to clarifying, to para praising everything when he is saying, "Come, and I will make you fishers of men." And this a matter of skill how to clarify this mission, to make the people empathic what he is saying, no? And the second, with this pastoral leadership in the qualities of the what I call the pastoral attitude is communicator is appreciative, no? You have to have a attitude of as a appreciative leaders. Appreciative leader, no? No? It is important to be appreciative. In this case, Paul gives us the example, show the skill of appreciation in his letter, for example, to the Philippians, no? Because Paul described their gifts of the Philippians people, and to the Thessalonican, Paul's gave describe sweet-smelling aroma, no, an acceptable sacrifice, well-pleasing to God. You are the people of Thessalonica, no. It's another communicative. It is really appreciate. The point is to appreciate. You are like this one. The good attitude that you have. You are really having acceptable sacrifice, something like that. And it is what we call appreciative leader among us as the pastoral leader. No, another communicative quality in this of our pastoral leadership is understanding. Understanding. For example, when Jesus emphatically entered, how do you call it, to the soul of the body of Peter, James, and John, no, because and Jesus understood them, as he mentioned, no, because at the time the disciple is so tired, no. Jesus said, "Spirit is indeed is willing, but the flesh is weak." No? So it is really a kind of understanding of Jesus to his disciples who are very weak in this case, no? Kapoy ba sila, no? But he is a willing to be with Jesus, but in fact that they are tired, no? And another skill of the communicative in the pastoral theology is about communicative in the sense of being tolerant. Tolerant. As a leader, you should be tolerant with your communicative skill, no? Like in the Old Testament, David was tolerant to King Saul and to his son Absalom. The best tolerance of David had for his betrayer was in a deeper prayer. David said to these enemies, even though they are his, how do you call it, his king and his son Absalom, no? O Lord, turn the counsel of Antitopel into foolishness, no? You can see it is about a tolerant, no? Another thing that we can learn from this uh, pastoral leadership is building. After the communicative skill, the next will be what we call building report. So it is another skill of leadership. So in the communicative skill, with many things here, next will be in the pastoral theology with what we call building report. Building report, no? Building report. It is a skill of leadership which a pastor, a minister must seek and acquire. Building report is a two-way street emotional connection. So the process is finding common grounds for the best interaction with the people of contradictory views. No? So it is really needed the technique. No? Technique is an assertive attention to thoughts. The technique is to assertive to put attention on the feeling and the needs as to meet them as much as possible. Even though it is a black, something like blood, but still there is a possibility. With a good report, no, a formidable teamwork is possible. No, so building rapport or whatever, it is working as a working team. No, working team. And what we call in the term of many famous term, it is what we call koinonia or fellowship. So the apostle Peter spied in of all his this quality which he always pull other disciples along. So make leadership must seek and acquire the possibility that even though we are contradictory, each one of us, but we have to make it go to the what I call like the thoughts, the feeling, the needs to meet them, no, as much as possible. And the other, when the next after the communicative, the building report, what we call conflict transformation skill. We need with conflict transformation skill. Oh, it is. No? Every pastor, conflict resolution seeks to reduce, to eliminate all form of conflicts. What I call this very common, conflict management. Conflict management will minimize conflicts. In the church situation, sometimes there is a conflict. Conflicts need to be transformed by renewal of mind, so that the conflicting parties are not confront the world. No, so the best conflict resolution and management technique to seek to the end to the effect of disagreement, agitation, and counter agitation. So in the other hand, with this conflict transformation skill, to set up new system that transform and replace the old and then permanently sustain the new. No? And it is what we call conflict transformation. No. So how to do it, as I mentioned, we have to start with what we call to think about the head or the mind, no? Because the head will create the vision, the concept, and the perception. So come to the conflict to look at the main head. What is the mind of this behind the conflict, no? And this will help us to go to the what we call make the possible forecast for relationship of harmonies, no? And also this harmonies of for action. And the second it is coming from head, no? Head first, and then our mind, and then the second, the big heart. We should have big heart. Hearts are sought to use to contain all the escalating and the de-escalating emotion, to meditate, no, over the pros and the contra in order to find connection, to find the gaps, no, to minimize violence and maximize non-violence. And the third, to have a conflict transformation skill, he hence draw detailed plans for construction. A plan for construction. No? Reconstruction. Reconstruction. No, it is, no? Remolding, reshaping forms. No? And also, if it is a body, from head, heart, plan of construction, and the feet, legs, no, or feet or legs, no, going to the feet or the legs, symbol of forward march, becoming instrument of reapproachment to every distance in communication. So make it not distant, not to make distant of communication, not to make distant of communication. No? So it is what we call face-to-face, no, for conflict transformation. It is because of this, no, to continue face-to-face. It is how to make a how do you call it, conflict transformation skill. And all of this, we come to the what we call the thing that we have, no, after leadership skill that we have already mentioned here, we can continue with, there are considering with many leadership, style of leadership, no? Of course, common about the leadership, we can find it. The leadership here on the earth, we have our what we call leadership with dictator. If you have power, you can make a dictator. No? Dictatorial, benevolent, autocracy, preferential, transitional, and transformative leadership. No? It is the common leadership. But the biblical leadership, I can say this. We need what we call transformational leader to partially reflect to others. What we call transformative leadership, no, transformational leadership, no, and the biblical context, what we call the church does have a dynamic in this transformation. The church needs transformative leaders who with to her dynamic nature, no. So he is a leader is he who sat on the throne said, "Behold, I make all things new." No, so pastor becoming a new creation to make all things becoming new. No? So it needs what we call a creative transformation, benevolent, how do you call it, transformative leadership. No, so everything will be in the transformative. The transformative leader should both need adaptive and adoptive. No? He makes himself quickly fit to live with and to be lived with a different situation and circumstances. We need the new one, no? And pastor leader aspect, of course, we have to be ready to have the troubles, no? But anyway, the leadership that you can learn here is really very communicative, using all the, as I mentioned, the head, the feeling, and the continuation of the leadership. So according to the conflict, we can see that we have to face the conflict. No, we have to face the conflict. So how to this one with the to face the conflict? According to one of the author, conflict is a motor of change. So conflict is a motor of change. No? Motor of change. No? We have to face the conflict, as I mentioned. No? The first, how to face the conflict, let us see what Paul said here. Knowledge puffs up, but love edifies. Meaning to say, let us really go to the, what we call, the self, the self-glory in the biblical theology and knowledge conflict with faith and wisdom within the pastor. No? So, meaning to say, with Paul's, knowledge puffs up, but love edifies. 1 Corinthians chapter 8, verse 1. No? Faith is more than brain, for makes us trust, and giver in the knowledge than the gifts of knowledge. No? So it is what we call self, how do you call it? The self. Meaning to say, to face the conflict, the self. The second is self-experience conflict with this, what we call spiritual maturity. Because as mentioned, conflict is the motor of change, and the next, experience is the best master. The best master. So we have to experience it, no? Many pastors count their ministry in years, and they try to look for the experience and to live this experience, because with this there will be a spiritual wisdom with this experience, no? And after this one, conflict, have to face it, because conflict is a motor of change, and also to prove it in the many experience and the what we call self-glory for success. After this, we can make it here. Ministry success is prepared by God's powerful. So self-glory for success. Automatically, if you pass these steps, you will enjoy self-glory for success. Success, And we need many ministry success is propelled by God's power grace. It is become of the grace of the Lord, And the things that the continuation of this is what we call like the celebrity. Self-glory in celebrity is inner struggle against personal insecurity. So some pastors are addicted to hero, celebrity worshipping, or their moral booster. They yearn for pulpit, important public occasion. They crave their heart, their own voice at conferences. But, this one, the meaning to say celebrate associated with, we have to be aware. If we come to this, the idea of celebrity, something like that, will be associated with depression, the stress, because you cannot achieve the celebrity that you may get, no? But anyway, it is a part of the journey. We have to be aware of this. No, everything on take sub-glory, and everything will help us to face the conflict. And I will make this very clear with the struggle of the pastor. No, we need what we call I struggle with sin and Satan. No, and in the Matthew chapter 4, verse 1 to 11 tells us that Jesus struggled with Satan and sin on 3 occasions. He was thinking how to carry out his mission among the hungry, the poor, and the politically oppressed people of the Palestine. And the fact is that no pastor is super Jesus. The pastor grown, the biblical theological knowledge do not insulate pastor against sin and Satan. Satan is genius. We have to be aware. Satan is genius. He knows the 30 strong enemies against us in our hearts. No? Many things. No? The struggle can be identified as loneliness, restlessness, anxiety, worry, despair, and so on. No? So, this one, we have to be in our consideration. And in spite of this, we need what we call, as Paul mentioned, about redeeming the time. It means rescuing time from loss to fruitlessness. No? So, time management, it means a theological issue, because pastor schedule priorities what will of the Lord is. So, prioritization of God's will. No? Giving the pastor never keep rigidly to his own time management, but need to consider his goal, no? And all the activities should be categorized as urgent and important but not urgent, no? And also neither important nor urgent. It is we have to consider. First is, once again, every stage of our pastoral move, we have to be aware with what I call activities. All the activities, as we categorize, we have to think about how it is urgent or not urgent. Urgent and important. It is the standoff point. Second, we have to think about important but not urgent. But not urgent. And the third, it is put the word neither. Neither important nor urgent. It is the 3 things that I always make it in many cases. My activities, to evaluate my activities in this life, whether it is urgent and important or not. If it is urgent, I will take it. Sometimes we can say it is important, but not urgent. Yeah? And the third possibility is neither important or nor urgent. So, pastor, the priest or the ministers needs to consider his goal, no, in order to agree or to reject additional tasks. What I mean, the ministry, no, it is what I call to have the time, managerial time. How to make managerial time by what I'm practicing delegating tasks to willing assistant. Delegate. We have to delegate, not everything to be done by yourself. Delegating to the assistant parish priest or what. Because without time management, pastor natural limitation conflict with his wish and reach beyond his ability. You will make stress because you want to do it by yourself, no? So, meaning to say, all the things that I already mentioned here, we learn about the pastoral. So, how the biblical literacy and 10 pastor in moving scriptures. Theological knowledge make us academize faith. We interpret both and spiritual maturity, and we are sometimes ignorant what is important. So, lastly, with this everything, the most cherished conversation among fellow pastors centers on their success stories. Such stories are like the creation account the Bible. They sound like this. And I said, let there be the manse. There was a manse. I saw that manse was good. Then I said, let there be a new chapel. And I called the chapel. Then I said, there be a new pulpit. And there was a pulpit, etc., etc. We identify ourselves with success in the ministry. We speak as God, begging into those things that were not out of ourselves. I think when we play down God, we begin to strike the rock instead of speaking to it. So, it is number chapter 20, verse 11. By such attitude, Pastor Arps at the office appointed mediator. So, success-directed behavior to ministry is often associated with less studying and more partying. Such attitude, Paul says, let him who thinks he stands firm stake hit lest he fall. So, what can I summarize this one is about from the Letivicus, really, we come to the skill of communicating. No? Skill communicating is very important. From this, I would like to encourage you to read the Letivicus book, no? Because as a part of the book of Letivicus here, we can learn many things, no? We can learn many things, no? So, once again, I underline with the communicative B, with to face the conflict, and how to deal with conflicts as good as possible. I think I end my lecture to the end. Yes, I will add about basic ecclesial Christian community, because we do not come yet in this matter. As I mentioned, the communion in the basic ecclesial community is the communion of the discipleship, no? Because it is the vision of the church as communion, no? As I mentioned, the constitutive dimension of this renewal church, as I mentioned, the leadership is try to create the renewal one. We have to renew our life as the church, no? And there are 6 elements to renew of the church. The first is church as community of disciples. We have to consider of this. And the second to renew of the church is living in a communion. As I mentioned kanina, with the spiritual leadership, we have to have to delegate to others. It is about the communion, participating the third in the mission of Christ. No, what is the mission of Christ? As priest, as prophet, and as a king, priestly, prophetic, and kingly people. So, as the church, we come the church of the poor, and this will find us the expression of the BEC. So, really, this the communion with this includes what I call four things: unity. It is additional for the BEC. Because I will work for this, I will continue my talk with this instead of learning from Letivicus. And it is what I call communion includes unity in diversity, equality in dignity, and mutual sharing. And interaction. Sharing of material. Material or spiritual goods. Human resources, and so on. So it is the basic ecclesial community concerned about to make the renewal church. No? So anyway, I will continue with the other session of this. So thank you very much for your attention, and God bless you all. Bye-bye.